Next to me is a Porsche 996. This particular one is a Gen 2 GT3. And today I'm going for a drive to see what it's like, because on the used car market, for the same price as a 718 Cayman GTS, which has now got a 4-litre flat six, praise the Lord, you can get yourself one of these, which is a fully fledged motorsport engine car. So, is it worth putting your money into one? There's only one way to find out. Here we are then, a Porsche 996 GT3, driving one of these. Now, I got to drive a Gen 1 a couple of years ago, but I'm not going to refer to it that much because I can't really remember much of it. And to be honest, I was driving it fairly to date. So where did this all start? Well, Porsche wanted to build a car for racing. So they need to build homologation specials which share some of the components on their race car that allows them to go racing. Hence, the Gen 1 996 was born. That car had a 3.6 litre flat six that made 360 horsepower, and you know, it was a lovely thing. And then later in life, they created a facelift, the Gen 2 model. That car then made 375 horsepower, and I've been told that this is the one to go for. They even made slightly more horsepower than they should. Like most Porsches, they always punch way higher than what the stats suggest. Some were running at 390 horsepower. They all go through a 6-speed manual gearbox, which is an only option, and it had a few lightweight materials. For these seats, for example, which saved 20 odd kilos. 0 to 60 in this car happens in 4.5 seconds, 190 miles an hour. But it's not the performance stats that makes this car, it's the way it delivers it all, it's the way it makes you feel. Now, this car has kindly been lent to me by Prestige Cars Kent. Go check them out because they have got a very nice selection of cars. Stuff like BMW F80 M3s, which are actually a really good car to buy nowadays, and all sorts like Range Rover Sports, the 3-litre V6 ones, and a few hot hatches. They also specialise in high-end supercars. They've got a McLaren 12C now, which I've been told is a very good example. And they've also got this lovely 996 GT3, which isn't for sale quite just yet. So, on the used car market, depending on the spec, depending on what options it got, you're looking at around £60,000 for a 996 GT3. So, should you put your money into one? Well, let me drop it down again and give it the beat. Oh. Yeah. This motor, it's a very special engine, and as someone who's obviously spent quite a lot of time in the direct fuel injection Porsche cars, which came later on in life in the 991 version, this has a bit more torque low down, it has a bit more grunt, and you get a bit more of a raspy soundtrack at low RPMs. I reckon this car is a little bit restrictive. It could do with a nice bypass system just to give it a little bit more grab, but the soundtrack is so nice. One thing I do have to mention is how cars have gotten large over the years. This 996, it feels as small as a Cayman. You can use all of the revs and you can listen to that lovely flat six. Oh. But there's also nice bits about the 996. I know styling wise it's got those fried egg headlights which ain't anyone's cup of tea, not mine particularly. I think 996s have gone to a point where people are starting to appreciate them, and where better else to appreciate than the GT3. So, what's it like when you're driving it on country B roads, and also how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel special? Well, of course it does. Aesthetically, look at these seats, these bucket seats. They grab you right by the torso, you sit nice and low in the car, and they give you a sensation of theatre. The steering, oh, well, after driving a 991 Carrera T a few weeks back, jumping into something like this, well, you can see why journalists complain about e-pass systems. This thing is just, it's like running your hand across the road. It's just lovely. You can feel the cat's eyes. You could just feel everything. You could feel a pebble on the road. It's fantastic, and that gives you confidence into the way the car behaves. What's nice about this as well too, it's got this bubbly energy about it. I don't know what it is, but it's fizzing. It's fizzing with feel and energy and revs. And this car's covered 54,500 miles, and it's been well looked after, but it feels as tight as a drum. And the 996s tend to not be the most reliable. Okay, this car doesn't suffer the IMS bearings like you get on the Carreras, because obviously it's dry sump, so the engine ain't going to go pop after 70,000 miles. There's also a thrill to just threading this car about. Like now I'm going for a village, and you have to make small adjustments all the time because the car does want to follow camber a little bit, but then I get giddied up on the texture and the surface. Around town, this car ain't too bad. Compared to, say, other sports cars / supercars, if you want to call it that, at the time, this is the least pain in the arse sports car. Even though this is a track-oriented version, the front end doesn't scrape over speed humps, nowhere near as bad as, say, my Cayman GT4, which I used to scrape over that all the time. You see out of it very well, you see out the back really well. You've got a frunk at the front, a trunk, which you can use. And yeah, it's pretty alright. I like it. You can cruise about in this. What I'm amazed by is just how usable this GT3 is. Yes, the ride is a little bit choppy, but it seems to flow really well the faster you go, which is nice. It's pleasant. And you know, the tyre size isn't big as well too, so you've got a bit more rubber. How do I summarise this 996 GT3? Is this a car that you should consider looking at? Yeah, if you are a Porsche fanatic and you don't mind too much about the way this car looks, and God, I hate this word, if you're looking to invest, which I still think is the most bullshit term you ever hear on cars, investing in a car is by far the most stupidest thing ever. Like, you can't invest in a car, not if you want to use it, and if you don't use the car, then what's the point? Then yeah, you could look at something like a GT3. I suppose if you drove this car for the next 3 years, you'd break evens on it. Obviously you'd spend a bit more money on maintenance, but yeah, try and look for a nice one. If you try and find a good one like this car, which is actually a very honest example, it shows its age, and it does show some wear, but it has been meticulously looked after, then yeah, I'd consider one for sure. If I had the cash right now, I'd probably buy myself one of these, but I don't, hence why I'm doing lots of videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please go check out Prestige Cars Kent. Thank you very much for lending me this lovely 996 and trusting me in driving this vehicle. This car will be up for sale later on, so you know, if someone's out there, then go hook them up, give them a ring. They might sell it to you a little bit sooner. And yeah, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as well too. Please do give me a follow, please do subscribe, every little bit helps. I'm trying to get as much content out as possible. If you are an owner and you have got something really tasty, please do email me or follow me on Instagram and DM me on there. I'd love to drive other people's cars. It's not just about me driving press cars. I love to speak to owners, I love to hear their stories as well too, and I like to have a go in some tune stuff as well. There might be someone out there that has done a few bits to a car which has totally transformed it, and it would be nice to document it and make videos about it. Anyway, until next time folks, see you later. Check out a new channel called Oversteer, where I ramble on about everything good and bad about the car industry. Click the link and subscribe to find out more.